All right, welcome to tonight's call. I'm always so excited to share. And I felt like tonight's call, I was like, okay, where are our heads? Like, where's everybody's heads, right? Like sometimes I try to just figure out what is most beneficial that everyone needs to hear, wants to hear. And so I loved the feedback that I got in the poll that I put up because that was exactly what I wanted to hear, just like what everybody kind of needed. Because we know that, like, some of the things I say tonight, some of the things that, your upline or we talk about on a regular is, um, like we is the same thing that we talk about every time in order to build your business. It never really changes. And so sometimes it's kind of like the belief, sometimes it's the action, sometimes it's just like the lack of momentum and motivation, right? There's so many things. And when I'm talking about all of these things that I like brain dumped on paper for you guys, I'm throwing myself into this. So I'm speaking to myself in all of this because I am also human and I have found so many distractions this summer that have really kind of thrown me off of routine and all the things, which that's what summer does, right? But instead of, making excuses for my business, I know that the bottom line is me and what I'm doing and all of that, right? And so as I speak and I say like the things that I think that will hopefully light your fire and put into perspective, some of it's a little bit of tough love, but I'm talking to myself too. So I think sometimes we just need a massive kick in the tail, right? Like, and hopefully, so we still have people popping on. Um, Hi Shelby, hi Kelsey, hi Michelle. Thank you guys so much for getting on. Really quickly too, back to just like July and again, I hate to use this as an excuse, but it's just it's always different, it's always busy, all the things. But it can be interesting to try to work your business and fit everything in, and we're going to talk about that towards the end. But let's think about, I don't know if I've ever shared this, but when I was talking to, I think it was, I forget, Mindy, Vanessa, I forget, from corporate one day, and they said to me, and I'm going to say this to you too, and I thought it was really helpful. If a consulting company came and looked at your business right now, what would they tell you? Everybody knows what a consulting company is, right? Like a company that's going to come and they're going to be like, okay, you need to do this, this, and this because you need to, like, if you want to like get to this result, right? Here's what you need to do. And I think that's sometimes a hard question. And you might be like, I don't really know because I'm still new-ish and I don't really know what all of this looks like. And that's okay too. There's going to be some things to help you in this too. But for those of us who have been around a while, we know what to do, we've done the things, and but sometimes we find ourselves not taking the action. So I want to remind everybody, and I think again this comes from the belief factor of like, you've got to believe in yourself and you've got to believe in the company that you're with. And six sold out, we all know it sold out, right? And it sold out for a reason. You know what the reason was? Because it's awesome, right? Because people are loving it, because it's something different, because you can't find another THC drink with CBG, because Green Gumba standards are very much higher than anything else out there, right? And I like to look for like signs, right? Like as I can, I mean, I have full faith in Green Compass. I have full faith in this business and the comp plan and our team and all the things, right? That for me, that never goes anywhere. But I still like to look for signs and indications of like where we're going and what pace and what track we're on. And so to me, the fact that six sold out is a very big sign of what's to come, right? And that right there alone should light your fire. The fact that we have less than 10,000 advocates in the United States. The fact that we have what I like to say is the cleanest CBD product on the market. Um, Quality and all the things, right? There's just so many things that make me not question all of that, right? So I hope that just kind of excites you too and just reminds you what we're doing here. The other thing is, and we're all here to A, create an impact, and B, create an income. And there's other things in there too. And maybe you're more on the create an income. Maybe you're more on the create an impact, okay? Everybody's a little bit different in what drives them. To me, like I love them both equally, but at the end of the day, this is a business and this business has given me a paycheck beyond any of my wildest dreams that I could have only dreamed that I could earn. And all of that really stemmed from what I did in July of 2023, which is when I enrolled. And all of the work that I did when I came into this, and of course, everything leading up to this, and I still do, the work, but everything that I did in that month and the few 4, 5, 6 months after that is still what's interesting is it's still showing up today. Right. And that's so often what we forget. And I know to some of you, some of these things I'm going to say is going to sound like a broken record, but we need to hear it over again because, again, this doesn't change. None of the to-dos and none of this changes. It's all very much similar. But until we hear it and we are lit up and we decide in like today, and I've done it a million times, and I know so many of you have also, is like until I decide today that I'm gonna relaunch my business, because no matter what, even though I'm very loud and I talk to people and I do the things and I do a lot of things for my business each week, and I don't like to say each day because we're gonna talk about that in a little bit. I do work my business each day, but I'll explain more of that later. It's the work that we do now that's going to show up in the months to come. And so I don't know about you, but stuff keeps getting more and more expensive, right? And so every single person on this call, I'm assuming, wants to earn a little bit more money, wants to earn 200, 400, whatever, maybe 500, maybe $1,000, maybe more than that, which I love. I think any amount of money is very doable, and we'll talk about how we can get to that. But stuff keeps getting more expensive. And if we think about the people that we're talking to, and in my heart, I think this is the best opportunity ever. Like, I think that, I was talking to Jenna about this earlier, but we were discussing like other businesses and other markets and targets, okay? And I can't think of another target market that checks the boxes with all the things that we have, right? And I talked to Ansi about this too, but it's like, let's just say that I didn't have a testimony with the products, right? Let's just say that I was like, I don't really have a testimony. And so then, because I know sometimes, and I want to talk about this really quickly, I think sometimes we think our testimony isn't powerful enough to change others' lives or to like, I don't know if I have a good enough testimony to be able to share this with others. And I want to tell you that that's absolutely not true because A, it's not about me. It's not about my testimony. Yes, my story is helpful and my story is powerful. But when you talk to somebody and you can honestly tell them without a doubt that whatever they're going through with inflammation, stress, you name it, gut health, all the things, pain, sleep, that you have a tool for them and you have a solution, they don't care. Most of them do not care what it's done for you and what it's done for so and so and whatever. They sometimes care about the ingredients and the quality. They most of the time care about how if you have a solution that can help them. And so the people that you're talking to need to hear this stuff over and over again. And what I started to say, So, like, don't be scared to just share what people need to hear and what they need, right? But what I started to say was the people that you're talking to, let's like go on that's kind of more of the customer side, but let's talk a little bit more about the advocate side. Most people, generally speaking, are not looking to make a six-figure business or a full-time income. They're just not. Because A, it doesn't sound doable to the average person, and it is, but they just aren't there. And B, they maybe just don't understand anything about network marketing. So why would they ever dream that this is going to do that, right? So whether that's your goal or whether that's not your goal, my point is the fact that most people want to earn like $200 to $500. And I'm going to tell you right now that I guarantee five to 10 people or more right now that want to earn that. Like hands down, they need it, they could use it, they could utilize it. And do you think that we have the products for them to be able to share and earn that? And going back to what I said about other businesses is that it's just so different. Like I know many of you know this, but it's so different than anything else because it speaks to almost every single person out there. And that right there is a gold nugget. Like it's straight gold and unique. And we know, like, I know we say these things, but it's just like I can't stress enough. But if we don't open our mouths and we don't put it out there, and I'm not saying just a graphic, okay, graphics are great and graphics tell things, but graphics don't transfer your energy and they don't tell people how you feel and they don't give people like that contagious energy, right? So it's different than just putting the graphic out there. And I know sometimes we have to do that and we're busy, and that's okay. Done is always better than perfect, but don't be afraid to just open your mouth. The pop-ups are working. And I know I feel like I've beat a dead horse, or dog, or whatever you want to say, in the last few months of talking about the events and pop-ups. But I only say it because it's the best way to get in front of people and to get them to understand, to hear, to see your authentic, whether it's the story or the Green Compass story or just your education and your knowledge behind the product, right? So with that, let me see what I have in my notes here. So nothing, it's all right here for us. Like I want to reiterate the fact that like Green Compass is going to explode. We are, I think, on the verge of something very, very special and powerful with Six, um, because it is opening the doors to more things that, again, is just pushing the envelope and creating more of a buzz around what we're doing, more education, more breaking stigmas, and all of that. So, I also want to ask you, for those of you who aren't necessarily driven by income and by like goal-oriented things like that, I want to ask you, what do you think your impact score is? Like, I love this because I think that at the end of the day, if we focus on our impact, the income comes, right? If we truly are focused on the impact that I can make, because there's a flip side. There is gauging your business based on, and this can be a bad thing. This can sometimes be a negative thing, but I like to gauge my business sometimes. Let me think of how I worded this. Um, how did I say this? I like to gauge my results based on my efforts. Okay. So like if you're like, I want this many advocates or this many PCs or I want this amount of money, right? Like or rank or whatever it goes by, that you're judging like your um not success, but just like your progress, right? If we look at our results, this week, like if it's only Wednesday, but like last week, if we go to last week, okay, what did we do? What did we accomplish that last week? Did we have a new PC? It's not always about that. I'm just trying to break this down in more of like visual ideas because we can make an impact without having a new PC, right? But like, did we have anything that showed up in our business in concrete form last week based on our efforts? So sometimes we have to like look at our business and see like because these things need to come into fruition. We can make impacts and we can make plant seeds and do the events and do all the things, but if nothing ever comes about, which it will, obviously, but like if we're not having things come about, that's when we need to look into what are our actions looking like? What are we doing each day to make this happen? Because if it's not happening, then what are we not doing? You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, sometimes we have to gauge our results by what our efforts look like, because there should be some sort of a balance there. Okay. So going back to the impact score, if you're somebody who's like, I'm not driven by like goal, I'm driven by like, give me a number, give me a benchmark, like show me what I need next to get to the next whatever to make the progress to grow my business. Because that's just easy for my brain to work and to reverse engineer to see what does my action need to look like, how many more people do I need to get in front of, etc. But if you're somebody who's like, I'm here for the impact, and that works in your brain and that lights you up, I want you to think about what your impact score is today. Of course, every day is going to be different, right? We can reach a lot of people some days we don't get very much done. That's the nature of this beast and that can be okay as long as you're like bringing up the rear on other days, you know? So, I want you to think about what your impact score is today. Maybe it's not great. There's always tomorrow, right? But I think when we think about that, that's really important also because that those little impacts we're making are going to show up. Okay. So, let's talk about this new flavor coming, okay, and the restock. So, what I'm doing, I want to share what I'm doing to gauge people on this. Now, I feel like six has been incredible. People are loving it. There's no aftertaste. People are just loving it, everything about it. The taste, the feel, the whatever. They don't love the price of the 16 packs, okay? Just being transparent. Now, if you know Green Compass and you're a raving fan and you know what they put out, then you don't care about the price. But it's the people that are a little bit like, I don't know because I don't really know Green Compass, but this drink has me intrigued, or they already are on a regimen, right? We can't expect people to buy the drinks and buy the jellies and buy like and be on like a $300, $400 regimen per month, right? So I'm really excited because this new flavor is dropping. I don't know the flavor. To be totally honest, I do not know the flavor. Um, so there's that. I'll be just as surprised as you guys. Like I've heard some talk about it, but I don't, it's been very general and I don't know like the exact flavor. Um, so they're restock, so okay, so they're also, I don't know if you guys know this, but they're coming out with 12 packs. So the 12 packs are, I'm pretty sure, gonna launch. I would love watermelon. I'm pretty sure the 12 packs are gonna launch on the 28th. Price point is about $79.99. Now, this is going to be great for the people that were very resistant to $99.99 for the 16 packs. So what I am doing is I'm going through all of the people that I've had conversations with that or they loved it, right? And they're gonna want the new flavor, or they just thought it was too expensive, whatever the case is. And I'm gonna reach out to them and I'm letting them know it's completely sold out because I don't know if it's gonna sell out again. I have no clue. But if we don't act like it's going to sell out, or we have a thought that it's going to, like, you, this creates urgency. Okay. It's like, are these going to fly off the shelves? I don't know, but likely if the point is lower and there's a new flavor and they restock them and people didn't get, I know several people that didn't get it. So when this comes back, we know that it's going to fly at the beginning, right? My point is, I'm reaching out, I'm already making a list. I already have like 5 names on this paper. And this is the people that I'm reaching out to say, hey, I just wanted you to know this is completely sold out. I know you were interested. Here's the deal. This is what's happening on the 28th. I'm keeping a list of names because I want you to be able to get yours. I don't know if it's going to sell out again, but it's a possibility. So I want you to know so that you can get yours that day. Either you want the new flavor or you want the lemonade. You'll get to choose that day. Okay. So that's going to be great for people that want a lower price point and want to try it. The other thing is a reminder that Advocate promo um, ends on the 27th. So if you have anybody who is interested in the products, could potentially want to earn $200 or $500 a month or whatever it is, whatever you feel like they need or they want, right? You got to listen to what they need. Um, Anybody who wants just a hell of a good deal on, a bundle, a kit to enroll, and they want to try the drinks, they can, well, they have to buy the 2.99 or the 4.99, right? To get the 4 pack for free. But you can offer that to them, but it ends the 27th. This is a really good way to get people in the door because if they're going to launch this thing with us, it's really smart to get in now so they can launch this with us, right? Um, And then you can transfer your energy and excitement of what you think's to come with the company and with what we're doing and the momentum and how this drink is affecting and impacting the market. I love that. Yes, Carla, I love that. Okay, so let's go into time management a little bit because I feel like everybody sort of had different thoughts on the poll that I put. So I'm like, I'm just going to touch on all of these things and give just my quick brain dump on this. Okay, time management. This is something that is just nobody can say, no one can say this is how much you have to do in order to hit X, Y, and Z, right? That's why I gave you the scenario of like, is your action creating progress? Is your action creating production? Because if it's not, it should be at some point. And so then, okay, so we can gauge that. But like time management is that, sometimes you can't expect to add more and more into your day, but also work your business. Like something has to give, right? So prioritizing it and however that's going to look for you. There's trackers. If you want a tracker, put it in the chat. If you're like, I want a tracker, I want something to be able to whatever, check off the list, do a daily thing, right? We have those, we've shared them. I could give you a multitude of those. If that's not something that you feel like is tangible for you to do every day, you're going to have to come up with something that works for you. And what does I want to ask you what this is going off of on a tangent, but I just asked Ansi about this and I want to ask you guys, do you have a conversation list that you're working off of? Because if you don't have, this is just really helpful. So if you have a conversation list and it's almost like an ongoing list of people that go in and out, because if they're saying yes, then they're going off the list. If they're saying no, they're going off the list. If they're dragging their feet and they're on the fence, or you just started talking to them, then they're on the list, right? But we want to keep this ongoing list because that's conversations are the backbone to this business. If there are no conversations going on right now, currently in your business and in your day, you haven't made any progress. And that's okay. And that takes me to the next thing of some days, there are going to be days where you do zero. And because I'm not here to say like yes, you should work your business every day. Yes, whatever. But that's not realistic. to every single day be like, I encourage you to take a day off. I encourage you to unplug for a couple days or whatever that looks like so that you can come back refreshed. You can prioritize, you have clarity around your business, and you can get really clear on what you want this to look like. So it's really hard. So time management is a really tricky thing that I can't say like this is how you should do it because everybody's day is different. Everybody has different variables in their day. But the bottom line is if you want to grow your business, you better be talking to somebody every day. Or, five people today and none tomorrow. Whatever that looks like for you. Just small bite-sized pieces that allow you to keep the ball rolling just an inch a day, just a centimeter, whatever it is, and whatever that looks like to you. And that's going to be based upon your goals. And I can't tell you what that looks like unless you tell me what your goals are and you're like, here's what I want to accomplish. What do you think this looks like? Then I would be happy to try to create something with you, but it's really hard to give people like, every one size fits all, right? Um, so if you need a tracker, please let me know. There's one in the back office I found not too long ago, just that they put up recently, and there's some in our team page. I can easily get you one of those. Um, but my suggestion would be like, what does your conversations look like? Do you need to do like, here's another thing. Do you ever gauge? This is something I always do, and I know this is going to sound really wild, but when I first started Green Compass, and I did this in my last business too, my goal was to get an order every single day. And that I understand that goal is like really out there, right? But if your goal is to get an order every single day, and I don't care if it's the smallest order, I don't care, whatever it is, but to close one person a day, if that was your goal, and you don't need to kill yourself doing this. Again, I understand that this is a very large goal, but to put it into perspective, if that's your goal, what do your tasks do leading up to that goal? Because if you can't reverse engineer and know what you want from this day, right here, right now, then you can't figure out what you need to do to get there, right? So I would like for you to think about what that would look like if you almost like maybe you take it by week at a time and you're like, okay, I like to get one new PC a week, then like you can gauge that easily. Okay, if I want four, you really probably want five because that's kind of the benchmark. But four is great, but five is better. So if you wanted five, then you need to have one every single week at like for sure. And then one of those weeks, you're going to have to throw in another one. What does that look like for your goals? Um, so with the fact that August, I mean, does anybody, where did I have that at? Okay. Does anybody feel like this is one question, but I want to ask before we go on to the next. Does anybody feel like they need accountability? And it's fine if you feel like you don't. I'm just asking because accountability is different for everybody. Some people want what you guys wanted from this call, which was for me, a lot of you wanted me to light your behind on fire. Um, if that's you and you're like, I need accountability, I need solid accountability, then I want to sort of think about what I could do to give you that. If you want to work more one-on-one. We've tried different things like that before. They can be great. And it's like anything else. It's exciting at the beginning because everybody's like, yeah, I have belief and I have this and I have that and I have my stuff in play. And then it's like, what happens? The week goes on and the two, whatever. Okay, so you know how this goes. But I still want to put something into play if you guys are feeling like you need that boost and that more like one-on-one. We have the thread, we have a lot of things, everything's in place for you. I mean, there's so much stuff you could never really necessarily like need more content or more trainings or more whatever. But again, something specific is nice to know if that's what you need. So please comment if there's anything like that that you guys are thinking would be helpful. Now, moving into like August success, because it's the 22nd, it's pretty much getting into July month end like momentum magic. Um, it starts now. Like I know I always say this, it starts now, but like whatever you do now is going to feed into August. And if you don't have a plan for August and you don't have a plan, a very good structure of what you're doing in your business and what that's going to look like, and the people you're going to talk to, and the people you're going to get in front of, and your list, and some social media ideas, and what event is, what your event is going to look like, and if you haven't already had one this month, I highly suggest putting something into play this month. It could be the smallest thing. I'm talking like two people at a coffee shop or two people over for, at your house to try the lemonade or whatever it looks like. Um, because whatever you end on is how you're going to start August. Like I was thinking about, does anyone have an event this month still that they haven't done that they have on the books? I would just love to know if you do. I know we have some amongst our team. I just don't know if anybody on here has an actual like small event, whatever, pop up before the end of the month. Um, I was thinking about oh, I love that. Yes. Yes. And I do want to give more, I do want us to be able to share more stuff amongst our like within our team that's helpful for stories and posts and things to give you guys. I don't want anyone having to create the wheel. That's the last thing I want. Um as far as content goes and all of that. But sometimes we do need to like be authentic and create our own stuff. I think that's very important for your followers and for your audience and your story, and so that needs to come from you. But simple things like I wish Green Compass would create. I talked to Emily Ritzer about this today, but something that they really need to create is they need to do more of like I saw some advocates creating like how to earn $500. They need to give they do a beautiful job with new product graphics. They really need to give us more, I feel like business graphics, especially with us implementing this new bonus system that they have. So I'm gonna tell someone that when I get off of here. I'm gonna write a note for that to text Mindy or Vanessa, or I'll email corporate or something. Because that is something where like we want to talk about the opportunity, but if we're looking for that person who wants to make $200 to $500 or whatever it is, then we need to be able to show them quickly how that can happen. All right. So I was even thinking about like an event, like summer's about over for like I don't want to say that because I do not want summer to be over and I'm not wishing it away. So it's really not about over, but summer break is getting close to being over for kids. And so I was thinking, I'm like, how cool would it be if we did like a summer, we could rename this, but my first brain dump was Summer Survivors Mom Edition. Like we've survived the summer with our kids. Like, I don't know. So I was like, that maybe that's ignorant, but I thought it was kind of catchy because I'm like, into the summer, like we survived, right? And I love summer, but you know what I'm saying? For a lot of moms who have been out of routine and we've had kids all summer, which is a blessing, but maybe it's like would be fun to host an event around that when they go back, right? Um, so ideas like that where we can just create this fun again with the pop-ups. The most important thing to do is to create the event that you would want to go to. And again, this does not have to be fancy, but if you wanted connection as a mom, if you wanted um like snacks, if you wanted like relaxation, whatever, like what does that look like? So create that fun. All you have to do is like a lot of times it's just finding a catchy name. The thing that you do is no different. You're still going to gather, talk about the products and let people experience them. But if you're going to like sort of theme it, that's a really fun thing to do for moms. and women of all, like all women, not just moms. I'm not trying to single them out. I was just thinking about summer break. So that would be fun to create something around just like the summer. Okay, so let's think about some things really quickly. This is kind of the last thing that I want to mention. Um, so I want you to write these things down if you can. I want you to write down. So as we start to like, as we're going into, because y'all, you're going to kick yourself if you do not work your business down, you don't show up now, and you don't educate people, and you don't share what you know, and you don't share part of your story, and you don't get in front of people, you're going to kick yourself come November. I promise you, when all the sales launch and there's so much like to be had, and there's so much on the table, and things are just blowing up that you did, and people are, you feel like, well, I haven't been posting enough, and whatever. Keep the momentum and keep the just the consistency, just that stable consistency, because that's gonna, when these sales come, like people are gonna buy before that, but when they come, you are just going to get so many more people in the door, and it's a really fun time in to be an advocate. Um, okay, so I want you to write down, like, what's my focus? Say, I want you to write this down under that. Sales. And then you can think about this after we get off the call, but like your sales. Okay, what do you want to create this month? What does that look like? How many more sales? And then what does August look like as far as sales go, or volume, or whatever it is that you want to break it down to? And the next one is team recruits, new advocates, new enrollments, whatever you want to call it. What does that look like for you to end this month, and then to set the goal for August? Um, and then you could say like new PCs, and you could say meetups/events. And then I want you to write down social media, because if there's one product, like if right now I asked you what is your very most favorite product, and that you would die if you didn't have, or that you wouldn't want to live without. That's a better way to put it. What's one product that you wouldn't want to live without? Whatever that product is, same, Carla. That's mine too. Whatever that product is, that's what I want you to educate on tomorrow. And you can do what you want. This is just an idea. Because if everything's important, nothing's important. And if we're just always talking about Green Compass as a whole, and we're always talking about like whatever, all these things, and there's jellies and there's tinctures and there's like people are just like, they don't know collagen. And so when we break down, I have found that when I break down a product and I really educate on why they would need this, why is it important, what's it going to solve for them, people are like, oh, okay, that's interesting. I have migraines, or I have pain, or I have, I have anxiety or anxiousness. All of that helps with that. I have nausea, like so many things. And I'm stating all of the qualities that help with CBDA. That's a really great way to think about, okay, I want to share about CBDA. So that's going to be tomorrow. And then what does the next day look like? Like just bite-sized pieces, right? Like that's just one. Tomorrow we're just talking about that. Then what's Thursday going to be? And we don't always know. I don't always have a plan. Some days I fly by the seat of my pants, but I still will throw something out there. Okay? Um, and then also the last thing I want to say is inviting to calls. So invite like operate whether that, or you could do slash three-way messages like with your upline. Like this is just another way to get in front of people, to give them a tool, to give them something to listen to, whatever, or involve them with your upline so they can help you if you feel like you need that or want that, which I think is always great because you're offering someone more connection and they're feeling like a welcomeness about this before they even come in. Um, all right. And the last thing I want to say is we have a Break the Stigma group next week. It's a 3-day event again, just like we did with the last one. We actually added quite a few people to the 3-day event. So I love that. I think we did a great job on getting that out there. Um, we will get the graphic fixed. I think I'm going to stick with the same graphic as last time. I'm just going to put a new date on it. So this one's going to run the 27th through the 29th. 27th, we'll kick off the group like we did last time. Similar information, just new testimonials in there, new lives and different things. And then 29th, a week from tonight, same time, we will do like a Breaking the Stigma call, which is going to be a great way for you to get in front of people. And then the people that didn't order last time are going to see some of this again, and we just hope that that kind of nudges them a little bit more. It's a great way to end the month. And that's why I always say, like, if you're thinking about ending the month strong and you're doing conversations, you have social media posts you're working on, and you put something in place for some sort of a sample event. Like if you did a sample event on like the 28th, the 29th, or the 30th, if you did some sort of like a in-person small thing where people can come try whatever, that's just extra like on top of what you're already doing, and you're covering so much of like your bases to just really expand your network and help more people and create a bigger impact. So be mindful of next week with the Breaking the Stigma call, because we want people on that. We really want to, to see if this is going to work. And if we find that, okay, this group is just, we don't know if this is effective, we'll pivot. We're always kind of just, that's part of this, is just really seeing what we need to do different and how we can do it better and how we can serve others better and how we can show up better and all of that. But I don't think I forgot anything. I'm gonna make sure I didn't see anything. Yes. And really just like thinking about the fact that like every single time you show up, every single time you open your mouth about this business or about these products, it's just so like it's so beneficial, and you never know who you're going to impact, and you never know who's going to just like take what you say and be like, this is exactly what I need. And it happens over and over again, but we just have to open our mouth. All right. Thank you guys so much. I hope this was helpful. I hope this lights your fire, and I hope it gives you some ideas and inspiration. But I would love if you're feeling still like, if you're just feeling like you were just don't know like where to really start, please reach out, because I want to help you and give you more of a plan customized based off of what you need, if that's something that's helpful. All right. Good night, you guys. Thank you so much for getting on. Bye.